Morning, good morning. Hi, Jana. There's Casey. Hi, Casey. Good to see you, ladies. Hi, Lynn. Good to see you, ladies and gentlemen, on. By no means is our audience only ladies, nor is our table attendance only ladies. Glad to see everybody on this morning. Guess who else is on with me this morning? My daddy's on with me from his home. He got discharged yesterday. Praise the Lord. Talk about powerful prayers. Thank you guys all for praying for my daddy. Got about 10 pounds worth of fluid off of him, and he's breathing better and talking better and feeling better. God is good.
God is great.
God is great. That's right, Daddy. You sure got lots of love sent to you from all these prayer warriors on this Bible study, I'll tell you.
Yes, I know.
Yes. Hi, Debbie. Good morning. Good morning. We are here on the 1 year daily Bible study. We read all the way through the Bible every year. We use the 1 year Bible from Tyndale, and we use the New Living Translation if you'd like to follow along. We're on January the 22nd. I'm Elizabeth Sharon Ann. So tell your friends to go find the Elizabeth Sharon Ann page. That's my public page. It's the page I use for my ministry, Elizabeth Sharon Ann. Ask them to follow that page. Ask them to follow the Elizabeth Sharon Ann YouTube channel. I'm still working to get 1,000. Once we hit 1,000, we can go live on YouTube. It'll be so much easier. It's been hit and miss the last few months on YouTube because of some technology issues that I have. It's certainly, I mean, I know it's doable, but in my time restraints and with the equipment that I have, I've struggled keeping my YouTube videos posted, but not giving up. And it will be so much easier when we can go live on YouTube. So if we can get 1,000 followers on YouTube, Elizabeth Sharon Ann page, then we're going to reach a whole lot more people when we can go live on YouTube. That's for sure. And again, this isn't about following Elizabeth. This is about encouraging people every day when things are rough out there. I talked to a sweet lady yesterday that is struggling. She lost 4 friends in this past 12 months. It's just tough times. It's tough times. Life is always tough, but since 2020, life got tougher. There's no two ways about it for everybody. So we need the encouragement. We need the direction. We need the security of what reading this Bible every single day does to us. Hi, Mom. My mom's on too. And there's Angel. Good morning. And my friend from Arkansas, Gina. Hi, Gina. Hope your town's recovering from that tornado that hit a while ago. Man, sure was praying for all of you guys. Hi, Karen. So anyway, it's about encouraging people and getting the encouragement that we need. There's great encouragement in today's reading. We're reading in Genesis chapter 44 and 45. This is where Joseph and his brothers, nope, I flipped ahead. I was on the other page. Today is Genesis 42 and 43. And it's where Joseph had his brothers bring back his younger brother, Benjamin. He had kept Simon behind as collateral, I guess. And then this is where we get to see when they're all in front of him and he's feeding them at his table. He lines them up in the age that they were born, which amazed him. And then he finally breaks down, has to excuse himself, having his brothers in front of him. What I love about this story is the love that we see in Joseph's heart, even though they had done him wrong. We don't see much revenge. I'm not saying there's not some revenge in some of his actions, but overall what we're seeing is mercy. And we're seeing the power of love. I mean, they literally, Joseph knew they wanted him dead. The idea was for him to die. They threw him down in a cistern. His brothers threw him in a cistern to die. Then some travelers came by and they opted to sell him. So they sold him into slavery, not thinking they would ever see him again. And then, as we know, Joseph had a dream that indicated that people would be bowing down to him. And sure enough, that dream comes true. And Pharaoh's put him in charge because he interpreted a dream for Pharaoh, and he's put him in charge of an abundance, 7 years of abundance. And God guided him through godly wisdom on how to store that overflow that was happening, so that then when the 7 years of famine came, there was enough. And enough for not just his country, but his brothers came from another country asking for food. And there's lessons in that. I mean, Jesus, just even as I spoke and summarized this story, there's those of you that had thoughts about the years of abundance and the years of famine and how we're to use godly wisdom. You know, in our Proverbs, all this year, we're on day 21 of the Bible, by the way. If you've started with January 1 with us, you're on day 21, reading all the way through the Bible. For the last 21 days, just about, without many days of exception, the Proverbs has been teaching us about wisdom. You know, this is probably the first year I've really, through reading the Proverbs and reading about wisdom, I don't know. I'm going out on a limb here with you. Wouldn't mind your comments if you want to share comments, but I'm not so sure wisdom doesn't have a spirit of its own. We have to seek it, and we're to seek godly wisdom. And then God says that when we ask, he'll give us all we need. That's in the book of James. Wisdom, common sense. Not that the two are identical or synonymous, but they go hand in hand. That's for sure. Wisdom. We're to seek wisdom. And there's wisdom in watching the way Joseph did things for Pharaoh. There's wisdom in watching what happened when the famine came. But there's also wisdom in seeing the mercy he gave his brothers. It's a very touching story. It's a famous story, but it's a touching story. And it's one that God will speak to you with whatever's going on in your life. He'll speak to you right from your heart, And then we move on to Matthew chapter 13 and 14. And once more, this is Jesus. This is red letter days telling us what the kingdom of heaven is like. And you know, as he is saying, again, the kingdom of heaven is like he's telling us yesterday, he's telling us today what the kingdom of heaven is like. I'm reminded of him teaching us to pray, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It's the perfect prayer. It's the prayer that Jesus used to teach how to pray, to teach them back in the day to pray, to teach us how to pray. And then we're reading about him telling us what the kingdom of heaven is like. You do realize he was telling them that the kingdom of heaven is here on earth, and this is what it's like. It's why I say I get to live heaven on earth. I do live heaven on earth. I do. Especially in the spiritual realm, this is heaven on earth for me. There's no time that I can't close my eyes and look into my heart and find him there. There's no time I can't find him there. Now, the kingdom of heaven, chapter 13, verse 47, is like a fishing net that was thrown into the water and caught fish of every kind. When the net was full, they dragged it up on the shore, sat down, and sorted the good fish into crates, but threw the bad ones away. That is the way it will be at the end of the world. The angels will come and separate the wicked people from the righteous, throwing the wicked into the fiery furnace where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Do you understand these things? Yes, they said, we do. Then he added, every teacher of religious law who becomes a disciple in the kingdom of heaven is like a homeowner who brings from his storeroom new gems of truth as well as old. Is that you? Are you bringing gems of truth to the people that's around you? You know, another thing, he talked about the weeds yesterday, and they asked him, you know, should we pull the weeds from our crops that are growing? And he said, no, that in the end, the weeds will be separated from the good harvest, and it'll be burned up in the fire. You know, he's telling us to quit agonizing and quit focusing on the weeds that are out there. Quit focusing on the bad fish that's in that net. I mean, you just had a bounty pulled in. We live with a bounty pulled in the kingdom of heaven, but there's bad fish in there. Don't focus on that. I mean, we spend so much time talking about this political party, that political party, this politician, that politician, this neighbor that's doing what they're doing, or that addict that's doing what it's doing, or this family member. That we spend more time gossiping and talking bad about people than we do depositing gems among us. Just good reminders for us how to live. I mean, there was a reason that Jesus wanted us to know here on earth what the kingdom of heaven looked like. So he told us. And then verse 55, well, let's go back to, I'll just keep reading where I was at. Let's go back to 53. When Jesus had finished telling these stories and illustrations, he left that part of the country. He returned to Nazareth, his hometown. When he taught there in the synagogue, everyone was amazed and said, where does he get this wisdom and the power to do the miracles? Then they scoffed. He's just a carpenter's son, and we know Mary, his mother, and his brothers, Joseph, Simon, and Judas. All his sisters live right here among us. Where did he learn all these things? And they were deeply offended and refused to believe in him. So on one hand, we're supposed to be depositing gems, right? And then we struggle in that the very ones closest to us are the ones that don't believe us. Isn't it something that I can do 2, 3, 4 retreats a year, and the ones that attend most of the time are not my closest family members? See, they just saw him as a carpenter. They went to great lengths to say they know his mom, his dad, his brothers, his sisters. Then Jesus told them, a prophet is honored everywhere except in his own hometown and among his own family. And so he did only a few miracles there because of their unbelief, because of the unbelief. It's hard for my family to unbelieve and unremember, not remember the old Elizabeth. It's difficult. They still remember me as I was. And the reason why this is written for us is for us not to get discouraged, to not faint is what it says in the Bible at times. Don't get discouraged. And in 1 Peter chapter 3, it'll tell us that those around us won't be won over by our words anyway. They'll be won over by our behavior. They'll be won over by the way we live our lives. They will be won over by the way we handle when those phone calls come or when the news spreads. I mean, you still have people watching you today. This is on January the 21st of 2022, and we still have a third surge in this COVID virus. They're calling it the Omicron variant. And there's people all around you that's watching how you are conducting your life in the midst of what's going on. You always have somebody that's watching. You're depositing gems sometimes, most of the time, without even saying a single word. Debbie says, sometimes our gems are like my gym bag. It's full of good stuff, but I don't unzip it to share the gems inside. That's a good one, Debbie. It's a good one. Remember, on Wednesdays, Debbie and I do Bible study together. Okay, so good stuff today. The Psalms also very, very good today. Psalms 18. He reached down from heaven and rescued me. He drew me out of deep waters. Right now, today, every one of you knows somebody that's struggling. Maybe it's the COVID virus. Maybe it's a different diagnosis from the doctor. Maybe it's job related. Maybe it's family related. Do you know that this psalm would be a great one for you to just take a little bit of time and just copy and paste a few of these scriptures from the Psalms and send out a dozen or more text messages to people to just encourage them? I mean, we have one of the greatest tools for ministry and to reach people and encourage people sitting in our hands if we use it that way. Who doesn't want to hear that he reaches down from heaven and he rescues us? He drew me out of deep waters. He rescued me from my powerful enemies, from those who hated me and were too strong for me. They attacked me at a moment when I was in distress, but the Lord supported me. I mean, we've got sayings that we say that, you know, if we think it's bad now, just wait, it's going to get worse. We have sayings that says, you know, well, we're just waiting for the next shoe to fall. They attacked me at a moment when I was in distress, but the Lord supported me. He led me to a place of safety. He rescued me because he delights in me. He delights in you. He delights in you. God delights in you. The Lord rewarded me for doing right. There's times when we just do right. We do the right thing. We're the bigger person. We take the upper road. And then we wonder, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? It matters because God knows when you take the high road. God knows when you're the bigger person. God knows that you're doing right. And in fact, he wrote it down for you today. There's some of you today that was feeling that way, that nobody knows. Nobody knows. Yeah, the only one that matters knows. God knows. The Lord rewards me for doing right. He restored me because of my innocence. For I've kept the ways of the Lord. I have not turned from my God to follow evil. I have followed all of his regulations. I have never abandoned his decrees. I am blameless before God. Verse 25, to the faithful, you show yourself faithful. To those with integrity, you show integrity. To the pure, you show yourself pure. But to the crooked, you show yourself shrewd. I mean, again, we need to stop thinking about the negative things, the negative person, the one doing us wrong, the crooked one, because it is written, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. He takes care of all that for us. You rescue the humble, but you humiliate the proud. You light a lamp for me. The Lord my God lights up my darkness. In your strength, I can crush an army. With my God, I can scale any wall. With man, this is impossible. But with God, all things are possible. The Proverbs chapter 4, verses 7 through 10. Once again, about wisdom. Getting wisdom is the wisest thing you can do. And whatever else you do, develop good judgment. If you prize wisdom, she will make you great. Embrace her, and she will honor you. She will place a lovely wreath on your head. She will present you with a beautiful crown. My child, God says, Listen to me and do as I say, and you will have a long, good life. What a blessing that is for us today on this fabulous Friday. I love you guys.